Very precisely. Precision is the hallmark of life because evolution is precise, sophistication is precise. Both evolution and sophistication happen in every moment. Meaning, in a moment, all the time. There's no one moment or the next moment or a third moment. That's in the mind. You follow?
Yes.
Good. So, as sound started into words and the ego becomes stabilized and the words increase in man's mind, he started developing or accumulating words which depict reality to him. Every label became a reality to man, or as an evolutionary time and sophisticated time. Every label in man's mind became real to man. Every label is reality to him. Even a dream is real to him as being false. And waking state is real to him even though it is false. Follow me? The entire waking state is illusory and false, but it's real to him. Therefore, every label which is in his waking state becomes real to man. And the most important label in man's mind which is real to him is death. Death is a label which is very, very real to him. Why is it real to him? It's real to him because the man doesn't talk, the man doesn't move, the man doesn't do anything when he's dead. You understand me now? Therefore he thinks that's the end of man. But man doesn't understand that's the precision of the moment. Man will change and go. Man cannot be here forever. Nothing is here forever. What is there forever? Everything changes and goes precisely. Even man has to go. Great emperors go, great people go, great professors go, great wise people go, enlightened people go. So what of an ordinary man? What of any man? He doesn't die as death as an end. He just goes elsewhere in some other form. Just as how our sounds have changed and developed into words of language, like German language, English language, Japanese, Chinese, all are sophisticated. They change and go. When sounds change as languages, actions change as sophisticated movements of the body, why not the body itself? The body too will change and come in a different sophisticated form. Man must understand sounds are sophisticated words. Actions are sophisticated movements. The body too sophisticates, entire body. Every generation the body will be sophisticating and going. And the way the body will sophisticate is for it to transform itself. And the way it will transform is called as death. Death is a process of transformation, just as our words are a process of transformation of different languages. Now you observe children, they talk differently. They are sophisticating in a different type of a language now. Therefore, everything is a form of transformation. Death is not an end. Death is a beginning of another sophisticated form. Death is not an end. Neither death is a beginning. Both the beginning and the death is in this endless and beginless life. Nobody can say where anything begins or where anything ends. Yes, they can say something begins, something ends only as a label in the mind, not as an actuality in life. Nobody can pinpoint the markings of a beginning or the markings of an end for anything in life. Nobody can say when a word begins. Nobody will say when an action can begin or end. Nobody can pinpoint the exact markings of a definitive beginning and a definitive end. For instance, nobody can pinpoint with any accuracy that when a baby after it borns when it will start speaking. Nobody can pinpoint the exact moment. Nobody can determine when a baby will speak. Speaking suddenly happens to the baby. And the child, mother and parents think, oh, we taught the baby and the baby has learned. No. Baby has evolved, it has sophisticated over eons of time, and it will begin to speak as a process of evolution, as a process of sophistication, not as a process of teaching, not as a process of education, not as a process of upbringing, not as a process of culture, not as a process of development. It's a sophistication. Just as how a baby will start to speak, and nobody can determine when the baby will start to speak, nobody can determine when anyone will transform and go his way. Nobody. It can happen in multitude of ways, but it will happen when it's meant to happen. Once man realizes it will happen, it is a process of life, and it will happen when it's meant to happen, you become alert and aware to your own body. You will be happy and contented. It is still moving. It is still moving. You will tell your husband or a wife, darling, it is still moving. One day it will not move. It will only not move. It will not move so that a movement may happen elsewhere. So all these are natural phenomena in life. Death is a natural phenomena, just as how birth is a natural phenomena. Both these phenomena, the mind cannot bring it about. The mind cannot start it, and the mind cannot end it. So, death is neither beginless nor endless. It has been there in life as a transformation process. It has been there in life so that life may transform, sophisticate and progress. Many generations will come. Every generation is replaced by the next. And the replacement of one generation to the next generation is through a process called death. So man must understand death happens every moment, because life happens every moment. Death happening means life sophisticates every moment. And one day it has to go, meaning it has to transform and shape itself in another form. This crying and grief, all that in death is a phenomena of behavior, a social behavior. A wise man recognizes all that, and he says, one death in the family, a grief is there, but a neighbor dies, there is no grief. So, grief happens to those who believe death should not happen. Grief never happens to him who recognizes and realizes it is happening all this time. So any moment it will happen, and I cannot define the moment because the moment is always ahead of the mind. So mind can never know when it will happen. And even when it happens, the mind is dead, it will never know that it's dead. Only the others know that it is dead. Therefore your question marker says, death is timeless. Death is endless. Death is beginless. Nobody can identify when did the first death begin. Nobody can identify when did the first death end. No one. Even the present day, nobody can determine with accuracy when did death happen. No. The exact moment, no. He can only identify a particular time. That's on the wristwatch or on the clock, on the wall. But that's not the time when man dies. When man dies, nobody can determine when he dies. And then pop, he's gone. Everything happens precisely. Death happens precisely. Birth happens precisely. Every word happens precisely. Every action happens precisely. Nobody does anything. Nobody speaks anything. Man does not speak. It happens to him. Man does not act. It happens to him. Man does not think. It happens to him. Precisely, and precise. Every word man speaks, I'll tell you, what does he speak? Does he speak a word or does he speak air? Air only comes out from his mouth. And the air that comes out from his mouth, nobody can determine when it will come out. For example, look at nature. Can you determine what will be the moment, what will be the content of air in any moment in nature? Can you tell me when a tornado will start? Can you tell me when a hurricane will start? Can you tell me what will be the velocity of air, a movement of air in any moment? You cannot. The movement of air in nature, every moment is different. Similarly, every moment air which comes out from man's mouth will be different. He cannot control that air. It will be different. Therefore, he cannot control the word which will come out as a transformation process of air. He cannot determine what word will come out from his mouth. So he can never blame anybody, never scold anybody, or never ask anybody how to speak. This is how you should speak. Yes, those are all labels in the mind which will tell. That too happens. You understand now? Therefore, every word happens, every action happens, every death too happens. And yet, does not happen. It happens as a label in the mind. You understand?